So now we're ready to make sure we have our paint weights for our legs. Again, very similar process to what we did with the arms and with the torso. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the left leg and get into my skin menu, and we're gonna go to the, of course, our paint skin weight settings. Yeah, so we'll have that up on the side. Um, and let's make sure that this guy has a little bit more distribution. Yeah, so again, everything should be locked into our left hip joint, which works out fine. But of course, what we're gonna do here is make sure that um, the knee, the ankle, and so on does come into play. Now, we're gonna break this down into kind of like an interesting style. So I'm gonna go to my left knee, yeah, and we're gonna do some additive, yeah. So I'm gonna go in here and start adding some additive um, coloring, yeah. So let me make sure that's selected. I'm going to do a replace, and for value, I do want to switch this up. So instead of having this at 1, I'm just going to put this at 0.5 for now. And then again, we still have our color ramp, yeah. Okay, so all of this looks pretty good. I'm then gonna go in here and probably bring down my brush stroke. Yes, I'm gonna go to my stroke settings over here. Right now 0.5. This is gonna cover a lot of ground, probably too much. So I'm gonna kind of drop this to maybe 0.1 for now and see how that looks. A little bit small. Maybe about we'll go 0.3 just for now. Okay, and then I'm looking at this line over here that matches up or aligns really nicely with the knee, and then I'm just going to color this one in, yeah. And so this is kind of how this works, right? As I'm coloring over here, that 100% that was on the left hip joint is now going to um, be transferred, half of it, yeah, approximately, to this knee. If you notice, I will kind of double up because this is just a replace. It's not going to like cake over. Yes, it's not gonna keep adding and adding and adding. All right, so that should be pretty good over here. I'm noticing this leg is kind of getting in the way over here, so I'm just gonna select it and do a Control H to hide it. Okay, and then again jump back into my paint skin weights options. I'm also gonna take a little bit from this upper area. Yeah, this is where I'm probably gonna drop the brush size a little bit, 0.1. And just to make sure that it doesn't dent too weirdly, I'm going to give this a little bit of influence. So we're gonna put maybe a 0.2, and I'm gonna be painting at the area, the edge loop right above the knee. Yeah, so the knee edge loop. And just kind of going around over here. I'll probably make 2 passes. Yeah, so here's pass number 1. Let's see, yeah, pass number 1. Okay, and then I'm going to do that one more time. So yeah, and again, this will just keep it from distorting too extremely. Yeah, you'll have a little bit more of a softened look when we have our knee bend. All right, but that's looking pretty good over there. All right, and then from here, I'm now going to pretty much kind of tell everything down here that it is going to be fully controlled by the knee. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a replace. I'm gonna change my value all the way back up. I'm gonna change it all the way to 1. And then I'm just gonna bring my brush size up so that I can hit a lot of things at once. Yeah, so I've got my 0.5 again. Okay, and then over here I am going to color, yeah. And if you remember, with 100%, yeah, we're aiming for that white, yeah. Okay, you may also notice I'm starting to move the I'm starting to move this influence down into the foot as well. Right now, basically all we're doing is removing this from the left hip. Yeah, so that's the purpose of coloring down over here. It's not because we're trying to lock it into the knee forever. Yeah, we're just telling it like, okay, for now, you're with the knee. but we are planning to um, relocate their influences to the ankle joint and also the foot joint. Yeah, okay. Now, as you notice when you're coloring this section, it is going to get a little bit tedious because it's going to get really, really close to 100%. But depending on the angle that you're painting in, it's not going to fully catch the all of the pieces. Yeah, so if you notice while I'm doing this, I am kind of making sure I'm frequently changing angles. Yeah, remember again, everything below the knee, we're trying to shoot for 100%. I do have to be a little bit careful. It looks like right over here. If I get a little bit too close, it looks like I'm kind of distorting that 50%, yeah, which is what we wanted for that knee bend area. Okay, but again, yeah, everything is moving into the white area. Yeah, we are making sure that we don't accidentally um yeah we don't yeah, we do want everything just to move from the red, so out from the red. Yeah, but we don't want to go too high up and like mess with the knee bend area. All right, so we'll take a while on here. Okay. You may or may not find this relaxing. I have a feeling this might be a little bit tedious for most of us. Okay, got a little bit too close to the top over there. Okay, now I know some of you are looking for like, oh, is there a flood option over here? Unfortunately, there isn't quite one. So yeah, I mean, if we did a flood, unfortunately, it would just kind of the knee would then take over, yeah, which would make it very unnatural. Doing a knee bend would dislocate the foot. Sorry, would dislocate the entire leg at the hip. Yeah, and that would be super disturbing. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of do this a little bit more manually. Okay, and then all right, almost there. Okay, after we're doing this, of course, we're gonna do a quick test, yeah, to see how that knee bend looks. Right. Okay, that looks good. All right, so now I have my 100% all the way through. Okay, I'm gonna do my test. So press Q, click on the knee joint. So left knee joint, I'm gonna do my bend. Whoa, that was not what I intended to do. My rotation back, yeah, and then this should look pretty good over here. Yeah, yeah, that should look all right. Yeah, so yeah, this will work. Obviously, we're not going to be bending it in the opposite direction either. So there's only so much we can do with this, but yeah, this should be okay. Yeah, a little bit of a crease here. Yeah, but yeah, we can kind of live with that. All right, so we're set with that portion. Now we're gonna make sure that our ankle is in control of a certain section and also our foot joint. Yeah, I may actually disregard this foot joint. I think that might have been unnecessary as far as the rig goes. But if we had decided to do that, we'd probably be colored right over here. Yeah. All right. So once again, we're gonna make sure we're in our paint skin weights tool. Yeah, I am going to be changing up a bit. So now we're at our left knee joint, and we're gonna switch that to our left ankle joint. And this is just to make sure that we can kind of rotate our foot forward. So any kind of foot rolls and stuff like that will go with this. Kind of like with the knee joint, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of we do have a little bit of like bend over here. So I'm going to change my value. Yeah, switch that back up to my 0. Yeah, we'll keep that at about 0.5. Okay, and then once again we're gonna do our coloring. Yeah, so put this at 0.3. Looks like 0.3 about. Yeah, and our 0.5 is gonna be this area right here. Looks like I'm gonna have a really small brush. Yeah, so maybe 0.1. And then this is what this is the area where we're going to start taking away from the knee. Yeah, so it might be multiple edges just because we did some holding edges over there. Okay, I do realize at this point, like our models may have like diverged a little bit in terms of geometric structure. So if yours happens to be a little bit different, if you can just make sure that you're kind of adjusting it over here, yeah. But um, no big deal if like, oh, the edge counts are not exact, yeah, it happens. Um, and who knows, your model may end up being just more geometrically sound than what we provided here anyway, yeah. Especially after adding those holding edges and also putting it in smooth mode, yeah, that may have also additionally affected like how this geometry displays. All right, but again, yeah, just trying to, I'm just doing like 2 passes over here, making sure I kind of got all of this like at that 50% or so. Okay, I'm also going to make sure that I have a little bit of um, action up here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go one up, change that one to maybe about 0.3. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of give this one a 0.3 right over here. Okay, so one, there's my second pass. Yeah, so one over here and then my second pass. And then over here. Thankfully, the color gradient, yeah, really does help let you know that you're if you're on point or not. Okay, and also, if you reach too far down, looks like I took away some of my 50% or replaced my 50%. So I kind of jump back down there again to make sure. All right, and right about there should be good. All right, and I got one more line up here. I'm going from 0.3, maybe I'll go from there to 0.2. Yeah, so still have a little bit of influence up here. Okay, then yeah, double my passes. Yeah, so doubling passes. Okay. All right, and then the rest is now, we're now going to switch this, yeah? So we're gonna make sure that, remember we transferred all of our weights for the foot to the knee, and that's just to make sure when we bend the knee, yeah, or sorry, rotate the knee, that everything bends along with it, yeah, so the foot follows. Okay, now we're gonna transfer all of that to just this left ankle joint. So we're back to value, putting that back at 1. Yeah, we're still in our replace settings. Okay, and we're just going to increase the radius of our brush so that we can cover more ground. Okay, but your last step is going to be very, very, very simple. We're just going to put this all at 100%. Yeah. Okay, now it is possible. You may, some of you folks probably noticed, even though right now I'm putting this at a, this is the second time we're painting the foot to 100. First time we put it foot to 100 at the knee, and then now we're doing that for the ankle joint. Some of you folks may have like kind of hypothesized like, oh, we probably could have done this, like not painted this at 100% at the knee, but I just done this for a foot, and that would be kind of a fair observation. Yeah, so that was just a way to make sure like we had our intermediate um, step covered. Yeah, so in case the ankle, we never got to the ankle, your foot would still all work correctly. If not, the foot would have stayed static when the knee would be rotated, and it would look really weird. Yeah, we create a really weird rig. So just kind of an intermediary step to get it away from the left hip joint. All right. So coloring, coloring, coloring. Okay, I'm probably gonna make a smaller brush to kind of catch that row right before it starts turning into, so at the 50% line. Yeah, I'm probably going to switch up the brush size a bit so I can not like just like bulldoze that area. Yeah, we want a little subtlety. but pretty much after this, we're gonna have our rig set up. So, and it'll be again a little bit more of a flexible rig versus what you would usually see for Lego. Yeah, but again, hopefully you're using this as an opportunity to practice kind of creating geometry that works with rigs that are a little bit more upper level, that will kind of give you a little bit more posability. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna shrink down my brush now, definitely. So now I'm back to my 0.1 probably, just so I can kind of get into these areas that are a little bit more what is it, requires a little bit more of a subtle brushing. Okay, and then this part, this is the part that I was like super like avoiding. Yeah, but just trying to get that. And then yeah, looks like I gotta switch up my angle a bit. Okay, and just get on that those vertices here. There we go. All right. Okay, I can sense the finish line. Okay. Probably should have prefaced at some point, this is the part you can like fast forward or increase the speed of your yeah, increase the speed of your video if you wanted. Yeah, that would probably have been the spot. All right, but that should be pretty good right there. I'm just gonna really quickly test it out. So we're gonna go in here again. We still have our knee bend, right? So that should still be happening. Yeah, so you should be able to knee bend. We should also be able to move the foot around. Yeah, so whoa. Okay, so you should be able to kind of do that. There's a little bit of subtlety that we lose over here, unfortunately. Yeah, but we looks like we can move it. Because of these extra bend points, that part's gonna be a little bit kind of rocky. Yeah, but that looks pretty okay. Yeah, and let's see. All right, so now we can kind of, yeah, that'll work. So we have enough like bend where we can kind of like do some things. What I'm gonna ask you to do last of all is we're going to right click, assume our preferred position on our character. We're gonna bring back all of our lost model pieces. Yeah, so I'm gonna shift select and do a shift H. That should bring everything back. And then remember, we can also bring back our texture. So that's always in the 6. Yeah, so if you press 6, okay. Now I'm gonna go and take off my wireframe on here. But yeah, now we should have a fully what is it? A fully posable character. Yeah, so we can kind of do our little sort of moves. Yeah, we can kind of have him moving around. Okay, and yeah, this is just our last test. Okay, so make sure these work. Okay, looking good so far. Let's see, maybe having a little bit of that. Yeah. Yeah, but that's about it. So you can now like pretty much save. If you're doing your renders, yeah, make sure you're doing your posing and all of that good stuff. But we have, yeah, we have our character going. Oh shucks. Okay, so at this point, of course, we're gonna make sure that your model is fully um, is actually fully showing. Yeah, so um, let's get that going. Five shading, no shading. All right, so okay, so we should be good. Now that we have all of our our paint. All right, so we should be good to go at this point. Our weights are all set on the left leg. Yeah, so we only have a few more steps to go. I'm gonna select all of my geometry, do my Shift H so they all return. I'm then going to make sure the right leg, yeah, is also has the settings that the left leg has. So I'm gonna click on um, my left leg, hold down the Shift key, click on my right leg. Remember, we can mirror this over, so we're going to go to skin and do the mirror skin weights tool. At that point, we can kind of do a test, yeah, and make sure that the leg actually still has the same similar properties, yeah. So can you bend? Can you have the knee kind of bend? Can you have the foot, the ankle joint? Does that have an effect? Yeah, so we can kind of change that around. All right, so that is looking pretty good. Okay, and then of course, yeah, you if we're doing any tweaking, yeah, just make sure you right click on the root or joint and choose the assume preferred angle. That'll pop it back into place. We want to make sure we can see all of our model once again. So we're gonna go ahead and press 6 so we can our texture returns. Then we can go to our shading menu and choose your checkerboard next to this, which is wireframe unshaded. If at any point you do not want to see the joints, yeah, that's totally fine. You can go, totally possible. You can go to shading and then you can take off the X-ray joints, okay, and then your joints will no longer show beyond when they're sticking out of the character, yeah. So that'll be top of the head and then the end of foot joints. If you don't want to see these in a particular view at all, like even the pieces that are sticking out, you can go into your show menu and you can choose let's see, where is, oh yeah, here's our joints, yeah. So if you click on that, it will not show in this view at all, yeah. So especially when you're doing a render or something and you don't want to see that, you can kind of get rid of it. Also, if you don't want the grid, you can click on this button, yeah. There's your character in full, yeah. But he should be fully posable, yeah. So we still have our root joints. If you want to, you can kind of like take those, yeah, they're posable. Everything should be kind of doable at this point now because we've rigged them up. So you can use these now to do any kind of posing that you want, or any kind of um, uh, yeah, like any kind of animations. Yeah, you should be good with that. So but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed like putting together your character and your character's looking good. Okay.